Welcome back to AM and the PM with Amanda and Mark. Today we have some guests. We have Lindsay and Ryan on today.
Hello.
What's happening?
So if you would like to kind of elaborate on how we know them. I actually asked Mark earlier if he remembers when he met you.
Well, I have a terrible
and
memory.
He said no, so I'm pretty sure he's just gonna say I know them because I play hockey with Ryan, but I don't know if he remembers anything else.
I mean, we can obviously dig into it in the story and everything like that too. But no, yeah, I think. Well, first of all, thank you guys for coming on. Really appreciate coming out to the studio here. But no, I think I did. And you guys are gonna have to help me with the details. Terrible memory, but I think. Ryan, you and I met via hockey, like Chris and Jesse and the whole gang and everything like that.
Yep.
I don't know how long ago that was. I know I started playing Dexstar like 7 years ago or something like that, and then we kind of all just.
I think we actually.
It might have been Cranberry.
I was gonna say I think we met in Cranberry.
Yeah, because it was like different.
And it was the Reaper Crew days.
Yes.
Then, so
that was
probably 7-ish years ago, 7 years.
Yeah, so it's been a long time. And then obviously Lindsay and Ryan have been together for how long? So that's actually probably a good place to start. Like, how long have you guys been together? So like we have some context for like more of the discussion. Like, give us a little bit of the backstory.
I'll let you start that one.
Okay. We've been together for 5 years. We'll be 6 in October.
Okay.
And we've been actually best friends since high school.
Wow.
Aww.
And you guys are how old now?
26.
27.
Okay.
She just turned 27 like
A couple days ago.
4 days ago.
Gosh,
5
well,
days
happy
ago.
birthday.
Thanks. But yeah, we were best friends in high school, and then we just kind of like went, did our college lives and whatnot, and then we just reconnected, and we were just like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. Like,
nice.
I like you a little bit more than I thought that I did. And
Well, different time too. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
you liked each other a little bit, or you had that friendship, and then it kind of comes back when you're
and you're a lot more mature. And kind of have your life a little figured out, and you're like,
for sure,
this is a lot better.
Yeah, dope. Yeah. So so when you guys were in high school, did you guys go to the Shaler area, or where did you guys go?
We went to City High.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So, but you were friends there. You said for like the whole time. Did you meet in high school?
Yeah.
We actually had the lockers next to each other because they did it by alphabetical order.
Yeah, so we've been like right beside each other basically that whole time.
Oh,
for 4 years we were basically locker roommates kind of thing.
With the exception of our
senior year, because we moved buildings.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, that makes sense. And then I think there might have been one time when you were around the corner for one of them, because there was like less lockers on the one side.
Maybe, I don't know. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
well, interesting. So like going from high school then and knowing each other for such a long time, then what happened there? Did you guys go different colleges, and stuff like that, or how did the timeline go there?
I went to CCAC over in the north side.
Gotcha.
And then he went to CCAC North Campus.
Yeah, the North Hills, like up in McCandless.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So how did you like reconnect? Like, did you not talk for like years?
No, we actually stayed basically friends all through it.
Okay.
And then we were both dating like separate people, obviously, and then we met up to do a double date one night, and then that was a train wreck.
Oh, so like you guys each had a different.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, I had a different girlfriend. She had a different boyfriend.
Yeah.
We met at a movie, and it just didn't go the way we wanted, and then afterwards, I don't know exactly after the movie, but
we really tried to stay in touch because especially after that incident, we were just like, this is stupid.
Right.
The people that we were with were just not great.
But that's just like such a long amount of time, like just being friends. Like, did you ever like think about like being together? I mean, obviously eventually you did because you're together, but like
well, so kind of we fooled around in high school pretty much. Like,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
We went on a date or two and like, had, I wouldn't say tension. It was just more of just like we flirt a lot, like it's not a big deal.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we always had that little bit of a connection there. And then I don't know, like there was just we fooled around for probably 6 months maybe before we actually decided to make it official, and it was literally just one night where we were both like okay, like this is more than us just fooling around. This means a lot more to both of us. Like, let's just give it a try and see what happens. And almost 6 years later.
Yeah.
So.
Nice. Basically how I remember it.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think if I'm missing any like steps before I like dive in to the next question. But I'm excited because you guys are the first couple that we've talked to who does not live together yet. And Mark and I do not live together yet either.
And you guys have never lived together?
We have.
We actually did.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
We rented a house off my parents for probably like 2 years. Mm-hmm. And then there was an electrical issue that caused some scary stuff to happen. And
interesting.
I moved back in with my parents, and she moved back in with her mom.
Yeah.
And just been kind of saving and doing stuff like that. So.
Interesting. Gotcha.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're still in the same boat, though. Like, it's still very interesting to, like, be in this long of a relationship and still not live together.
Right.
So it definitely, it gets weird just because, like, you want that privacy, you want that time alone and everything. Yeah. And I also have an 8-year-old little brother, which...
Oh, man.
There's no privacy there. There's no privacy there.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, it's definitely interesting to be apart, even after like when we were together for 2 years, and then going from a house to a bedroom was really hard.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. So did you say 2 years?
That we were living together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so 2 years. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, with me and Amanda, like, to compare and contrast that. Yeah, it's we're definitely with you on that. It's tough. Obviously, we're still with our parents, and you definitely don't have that privacy. It's nice to get away, once in a while to go on like a trip or something like that, because you kind of think, oh, well, this is, maybe this is like kind of what our life will be like, when we do have like our own space, even though it's just maybe like a hotel room in some, instances or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess we can kind of go there. Like, what were some things like from that first experience? Obviously, now that you guys are separate again, as far as where you're living, what were some like things that you, I don't know, enjoyed about that, or like, or honestly, obviously there's a lot of things that you enjoy just because you're together. Yeah. But what are some things that maybe like, did you experience any like tough parts like living together? Like what was some of the biggest things that you had that were challenging from when you went from living with your parents to living together?
I'd say the biggest thing was money.
Yeah.
When you're with your parents, you don't have to worry about rent and electricity and water and all that kind of shit. And, then when you get put on the spot, and even my parents, as landlords, were still landlords. Right. They were like, hey, I need your side of the rent this week.
For sure.
And it's like, shit, I don't got it.
Yeah. I hear you. And what do you guys do for? We should probably add this in here. What do you guys do for work?
I'm a detailer up at Honda in Wexford.
Gotcha.
And then I work at a primary care center, so a pediatric office.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Is it like so with that, like, I mean, even if you guys want to like describe some of that too, like, I mean, how, like, is there something that like you guys really enjoy about those, I don't know, like those jobs, and like how that's kind of like, I don't know, like kind of where you're going with those types of things, if that makes sense? Like,
I was thinking about this earlier because I was actually thinking about how we were going to talk about this. I was thinking about some people, like, have a job and it like almost is like their job, and like it is like, kind of like almost like, like I work with children, like I obviously love kids and blah, blah, blah. So some people are like, oh, like that's, their job. And then other jobs I feel like are like just a job, like,
Yeah. I honestly can say that I love my job. It's taken me a long time to actually get to a point of me loving a job.
Yeah, I know.
And I mean, I worked in retail for most of my like working life. So
I remember
it was just
working there.
Yeah, I thought that I loved it there too, just because I was working with lots of women and I was like being helpful and whatnot and making a difference. But being in a doctor's office where like you're really just checking people in, checking insurances and whatnot, you get to kind of like, you're the first people that they see when they walk into the doctor's office, and kids are usually scared, and you're able to kind of like break that ice for them, which is kind of cool. And just to see them, even if they're like having the time of their lives waiting to go back there to get shots, like it's it's really neat. And even though, like I said, it's not like I'm one of the doctors or I'm one of the nurses or anything, you get to be a part of something that makes a difference for these kids. And that's why I love it so much. And it'll be a year actually in November that I've been there. And it's almost like time has not, like it hasn't even been that long. Right. Now, if you ask me about my other job, I wouldn't have said the same thing.
I'm like kind of relatable. I used to work at Dunkin' Donuts for 4 years, and I absolutely loved it. And then, but
then you get to the other one, and you're like, oh wow, why?
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely a change there. Ryan, how do you like your job?
I love my job.
Yeah.
Like I said, I detail, so I would say like the biggest thing for me is kind of like self-pride.
Yeah.
Right. Some of the cars that we get in, you're just like, how do people drive these? Garbage up to the windows, you know, like, and you're just like, you're kind of like just picking trash out, and then you're like, oh my God, that's a baby pacifier. Like there's a child in here, and you're just like, oh my God, I should call CYF. Like, this is so bad. But, just the before and after kind of thing, where you're just like, even if it's not that bad, and you just can resurrect
take your car
it.
there, Mark.
For sure. Yeah, I should.
You have a Civic.
I do it on the side too. So.
I'm hitting you up.
But yeah,
my car's out there.
Right after.
No, it's ready to go. It's really bad. I think I got it cleaned a year ago. I saw it in my time hop, and it was gross. And I was like, oh,
it's just as bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the biggest thing for me is being able to like transform, something that's rather atrocious into something that's being sold on the lot, or whether it's a customer car that they want to pay to get detailed, and they're like, they'll come back and say like, you guys did such an amazing job, because I work with another guy and we kind of tag team cars. But that's the biggest thing for me is just being able to transform a turd into something that's presentable.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely
take a lot of pride in that.
Yeah, definitely a good transformation there. Do you ever like, I mean, I guess maybe with your side hustle piece of it too, like, do you ever like, are you trying to like market that in a way?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Detailing such a hard business to really like put out there, because not a lot of people understand the in-depths of how a detail goes.
Right.
A lot of people think, oh, you're just washing my car, vacuuming it, and kind of cleaning off the dust, but don't really think about all the in-depth stuff that we have to go through sometimes. Shampoo, or carpets need shampooed, leather needs cleaned, revived, protected from the UV rays from the sun, that kind of stuff. All that goes into it. And it's stuff that the good detailers do, but sometimes the sketchy ones that are charging the same price don't do. So I think a lot of people have that sour taste in their mouth if they've have done it before, and they like kind of nitpick and go, you guys missed fries underneath the seat, like did you even move the seat? And it's like, you're paying $150 $200 to have somebody miss stuff, and that just it's why would you do it again? Like, you can do it better yourself,
right?
But it's hard to market, but I definitely try to. And my buddy that I work with, he does a little more of the side hustle, and he advertises a lot more, but I usually help him with that, and he'll like tag me on the Facebook posts and everything too. So
dope. Nice.
Kind of works out.
Yeah. Nice, for sure. I had a question. I don't know if Amanda had one, but I had a question going back to like that time where you guys were living together, and you mentioned that one of the hardest things was money. That's something that Amanda and I think about all the time, because right now, again, as you guys said, you don't really have to worry about a lot of that when you're at home.
Yeah.
Did you guys, like, when you moved in together, did you combine your finances? Did you kind of, is that like, how do you guys stand on like separate versus together, as far as like, and even throughout your whole relationship? Like, do you guys always go 50-50, or how do you guys handle that?
We try to do 50-50.
Yeah, like, that's what we strive for. I mean, when we first got together, it was really hard to adjust to, I feel like, just because we were like, both of us were just kind of like, I moved in, he was already living with his roommate for
probably like months? 6 months or so.
Okay. And then so it was going to be split 3 ways, and so it was just kind of like, how do we divvy up everything? How does everything get how does everything get split up and whatnot. But it was really hard to adjust to. Just kind of like, I don't know, because I'm weird and I'm like, how do I ask people for money? How do I just, even though that this is what it's for, it's just like, I don't want to just go up to somebody and ask them to just give me money so I can put it towards rent. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so it was a different adjustment. And then I think back then we were very like separate. Like, you have your money, I have my money, that kind of thing. But now I think we're more open to the idea of like combining some stuff, just because we're also in better financial situations than we were back then. Because we moved in together when we were 21.
I was 20.
Right?
2021, somewhere around there.
So how long were you guys together when you moved in? For 2 years.
Officially?
That'd have been pretty early.
Yeah, it was really
early. If it was pretty early on, I mean, that's understandable. Like, you gotta like combine everything. And
I really think we were together for
maybe like 3 months.
Maybe.
4 months.
Wow, yeah.
Because I was over there all the time anyways.
And,
so it was
and
just
the issue was she didn't have her license at the time.
Yeah.
So I would go from work to pick her up at her mom's back to my house.
Yeah.
And then from my house in the mornings, drop her off at work or at her mom's, which is, again, over Mount Washington.
Yeah.
And then drive to McKnight Road where I worked. And then do it all over after work.
Yeah.
You know, so it was just a lot of back and forth. And I'm like, this is stupid. I'm just wasting gas money.
Yeah.
You know, so why don't you just move in and make it easier?
Right.
So.
And of course I was like, okay, let's go. Let's do this. Like,
well, yeah, when we started dating, I did not have my license either.
Yeah.
And Mark definitely still drives to my house way more than I come here, but he's also like out there for hockey and stuff. But but he really like helped me to get my license.
Yeah.
Like the motivation. And I mean, like, I had the motivation. I was just scared.
I was
like,
definitely terrified. Yeah. I was like,
it's scary.
Who's going to let me on the road? I don't know what I'm doing. Like, you know, and I even waited until I think 21. I got my license when I was 21. I think we were together for 6 months or so. Or no.
It was a little longer than that, almost a year.
Almost a year. Yeah, almost a year. And then I got my license, and it was just like, wow, did I do this? Like,
I was 19. Yeah. And I could never like work like where I work now if I didn't have my license. My mom would drive me to Dunkin' Donuts 2 minutes away down the street. Like, you know what I mean?
It's just like, why do I need my license? Right?
Once you have it, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yes. And it's just like, you feel better about it too. You're just kind of like, oh, well, I don't have to ask my parents or my boyfriend to take me anywhere. And it's just kind of like, it's nice. That's nice.
Yeah. A lot of freedom.
Yes.
That's pretty good. How has life been since then? So like you moved back in, or you moved back apart rather. And so obviously now there's you know, some pros, some cons, I guess. You know, you get to save more money, you get to kind of like build up for the future. And was there like in that period of time, since you guys have obviously been together for quite some time after that, right? Like it's 3, if my math is correct, 3-ish years.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So like what has that been like? Did that introduce any like bigger, like tougher parts, just being apart more, or like would you say it was better, like worse? Like what are some of the, would you say the big events in that time frame?
I mean, so when we moved separately, there was definitely some like hardships and whatnot that we were just like, okay, we should probably just like, it's going to be beneficial for us to stay separate, you know? And then as time went on, it was just like, okay, so we have a whole week, you know, like of, if you want to come over during the week, great. And then when we're both off on the weekends, we spend more time together. So it just kind of gives us more time for those dates to happen. And I feel like dates are really, really important, no matter if you're living together, if you're not, just because it gives you that time separate from everybody and anything else.
Right.
I mean, at least that's how I.
No, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, you know, it's nice being able to save and plan for your future a little more, but at the same time, it sucks because, you know, those shitty days when you come home from work, you kind of just want to be loved and
for sure. Yeah.
Just kind of relax, and you don't really get that when you're with your parents.
Just chill in your room.
Yeah. It's just like,
it's just like cool. I'm just gonna go to my room now.
Yeah.
I feel that.
The hard part is like you can hang out while you're still like at home, like just chilling there. But now it's like we have to make all these plans to like hang out and stuff. But like if we lived together, I could just go do my own thing in the living room and he could go work, and yet we would like still be together.
We'd still have the company.
But we definitely go like 4 to 5 days without seeing each other like sometimes, and like we're not like bothered by it. We're just doing our own thing. But I think it'd be nice to be able to do our own thing when we're still together, you know?
Absolutely.
Like do your own thing, but still come home to that same person.
Yeah, and it's just like such a hassle, like making plans throughout the week. I mean, obviously it's nice, but like, you know.
And especially in the times that we're in, everything is just, it's weird to go places anyway. But it's nice to just kind of like take the time away. But especially in like my household, having an 8-year-old walking around, like if we're upstairs and whatever's going down, and just Linz, what are you doing? So I think that's definitely and then at his place there's not a lot of privacy either, so it's just kind of like, are we going to the truck? So it's interesting.
No, that's the worst part at my house. We just have like my basement that we hang out in, and anyone could walk down the stairs at any given time, and it's just like,
need to put a sock on the door.
right.
Some sort of signal.
And it's like my parents aren't stupid too, but they'll still walk up and down the stairs, So it's like. But she'll tell me sometimes, she's like, I'm gonna be doing laundry, Amanda, so you better not be doing anything. I'm like, okay.
And just to spite you, watch this.
And she lets me know before she comes home.
Oh, okay.
Like when she's out. Yeah.
That's helpful.
It's so weird though, it's like, fuck. I don't know, like I think about those conversations. I'm like, why can't we just be fucking truthful about what's going on? It's
right.
Like we all know what's happening, like we're all adults here.
But I wonder, like, I think about this. I'm like, I'm not a parent, so I can't like fully empathize with it. But am I going to be, I'm wondering, like, like when we parent, are we going to be like upfront with our kids about that sort of shit and like talk about that? Like just, listen, we know you're having sex.
Yeah, this is like a huge.
I found the condom in your trash can.
This is like a huge thing that we talk about all the time because I mean, like, I guess like my mom is like, she knows about it more than like Mark's family, just they don't talk about it at all. It's like never been brought up. Yeah. So it's just like,
I don't know.
You don't do that, huh?
So, I mean, yeah. Well, I guess I like just a little backstory. I like got put on the pill when I was like 15. So I guess my mom knew. Yeah. And she just wants me to be safe, I guess. But
15. What the fuck? No.
So, I guess I don't.
News.
I don't know if it's different for guys. Like, I don't know. Guys can still get girls pregnant. Like, I know girls get pregnant, but yeah, it's just definitely different.
Guys can run. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't
advocate.
My family also does. My family also does like a lot of like that's what she said jokes. You know what I mean? Like we joke like that, and like
That's how my family is too.
So
it's very open.
It's just interesting.
I don't know if it's really necessarily open with my mom. I mean, I definitely don't talk about it with my dad.
Yeah, I don't either.
But I mean, we're in the attic. Like my room's in the attic. The house shakes. Like somebody has to know. Like somebody has to know that this is happening.
Well, you're also like 27.
Yeah, and
I mean, I'm 23 now too. So it's like, what do you guys expect?
Yeah, right. I mean,
you're not practicing to be nuns here, so
right. Even whenever it was, whenever we officially moved back, it was me and Rye, and then my sister and her boyfriend were there too, and they were the ones that were up in the attic first. And I was like, we always knew when they were having sex. So I'm like, oh, and like I forget about it sometimes because like my mom is literally right below me, like right at the bottom of my steps, kind of thing.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, every once in a while, I'll just be like, oh my god. Oh my god, my mom knows. Was she right there? Did she like try to knock on my door? Like I don't know. It was just it's weird sometimes.
Yeah, it's definitely strange.
Yeah, it's a It's a weird thing. But yeah, I don't know if it's better to just be kind of like completely naive to it as like a parent and as a family, or to just be like, yo, listen, just fucking just like let me know some sort of like, indirect way. Sock on the door.
Right.
I don't know.
Put a note on the door, like do not disturb something.
Yeah, just like a hotel.
Yeah.
Like thing. Yeah. Side note too on hotels, like are hotel walls like fucking soundproof? Or do you guys like hear stuff?
I was gonna say I don't know which hotels you've been at, but we spent a weekend in Erie, was it? Mm-hmm. And we heard somebody like four doors down, and
really?
We're like, damn.
I don't think I ever have, but it's always like something I'm thinking like.
I've never heard anything. No.
Either we're like in places that aren't very inhabited, or there's just like quiet people near us or something. But I've never had that experience. So I always wonder.
It's definitely awkward.
Yeah, it's weird because you're just. Well,
it's all right.
Yeah, way to go! Like, do I bang on the door and just way
cheering,
to go, guy?
we stayed like with my family in like hotels and stuff too.
Yeah,
didn't hear anything. So.
Yeah, strange. I don't know.
And yeah, they also don't hide what they're doing either. So it's like
right. It's just like it'll end up being a battle.
We weren't allowed to have a jacuzzi tub. My stepdad said because if we had a jacuzzi tub, stuff would go down. Only if we had a jacuzzi tub.
Only if. That's a very.
Well, we ended up having a jacuzzi tub.
And he's just like, after 9 o'clock, no one go outside.
Nobody go outside, please.
Let's make that a rule here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all very interesting sex talk. No, but in other news, you guys are recently engaged, yes?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I know Amanda has a ton of questions and is probably very interested, and me as well, and our viewers. Amanda, you want to?
Well, okay, I guess I'll start first. How did it happen? I feel like I kind of like heard about this, but I don't remember.
Yeah, he took me to Phipps Conservatory, and it's something that we've been trying to go to every year. So it's very like sentimental for us, and he was like, "Oh, we should get dressed up." I was like, "Oh yeah, I love getting dressed up." So it's like we got all dressed up. We were walking around. It was kind of crowded, and I can feel him like getting like just antsy that there were too many people there, and I was just like, "Oh, it's just one of those nights. No big deal." And
and was it just you two?
Yeah, well,
kind of.
Okay, more than short.
So we're walking around, and then we finally get to. I don't know if you guys have ever been there before.
Yeah, we went in the winter once.
Like whenever you guys go outside, and there's usually those like big like colorful ball things, and then there's like off to the one side there's like a really pretty waterfall. He goes, "Oh, we should go over and take pictures over there," and I was like, "Okay." So we walk around for a little bit first, and then we come through this like really pretty archway, like hallway kind of thing, and then we were gonna go back to the other side, and he keeps like checking his phone, and I'm like okay, whatever. So then his sister calls him, and he was like, I'll be right back. So then he's like on the phone, and he's like just freaking out, like just he's like moving his hands, and he was getting real aggravated, and I was just like, what the hell is happening? Like, so I let it go, and I was just waiting for him to come back, and then I look, and I'm like, well, where did he go? Like I couldn't see him anymore. He was like, there was people that were coming forward too, so I got kind of bummed out that like we lost our spot at this like taking these pictures. So he comes up and he goes, "All right, let's just, there's too many people over here, so let's just, like, keep walking." It's like, okay. Like, is everything okay? He was like, "Yeah, Becca's in a fight with her boyfriend." And I was just like, well, what happened? Because I'm Nebby.
Yeah.
And of course, like...
Becca wasn't in a fight.
Yeah. He didn't
so
know
you're going to make
say.
up on the spot here. She stole her
He really did. He did a good job, too.
Oh, what did he say?
I think he was just like, he was being a jerk to her, and he was like talking all this...
talking all this smack?
Yeah.
I honestly don't know what I said. I was so aggravated and nervous. Yeah.
Like, and
the whole palms are sweaty, knees are weak.
Yeah.
Like, that line was just running through my head that whole night, because I'm like, I don't know where anything is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And then it comes down to that part where like he's like, I wanted to show you something, I just can't find it. And I was like, well, why don't we look at the map? And he goes, it's not like that. And I was like, okay,
it's not on the damn map.
I was like, why don't we go ask somebody? And he was like, no. I was like, okay. So then we're like, I was like, okay, well, let's just like, is there a spot that we missed that we were supposed to turn? Something. So apparently there's like a second part that you can go outside where there's like a, almost like a pond or like a stream or something. And you walk around it. There's like a gazebo at the one end and then like another path, like to go back around the other side. So we walk around and, all of a sudden somebody come from behind me is like, hey, miss, I think you dropped this. And I was like, he hands me this like really pretty red glittery origami rose. And I was like, huh, they have these here. I didn't have that, but thanks, And so I was just looking at it. I was like, wow, this is really neat. And we get to the gazebo and he was like, well, you should open. And I was like, why would I open that? Why would I tear apart an origami rose that somebody took so much time to make? Like, I was just totally oblivious. And he was like, no, you should open it. So then he stands behind me, and as I'm like trying to like carefully, without ripping anything, I open it and it said, will you? And then I turn around and he was knelt down behind me. Yeah, it was really, really sweet. And so the stress part of this was his younger sister
she was ahead of us.
Yeah, she was,
and she found like the spot.
Yeah.
So, and the idea was we were supposed to walk past it. I was supposed to see it, grab it, and give it to her.
Like, be like, oh, look at this, check this out. Like,
yeah.
you should take that.
We went by it too late, and it was starting to get dark.
Mm-hmm.
And I completely missed it. It was like in a shadow, and I just walked right past it.
Yeah.
And she's like hiding, and is like, "Shit!" He walked right past, like.
Yeah.
And I'm still like, "Where is it?" And can't see it. And then this guy comes up,
Some random dude.
Yeah, literally.
Did she, wait, okay.
He didn't know it was yours.
Did your sister?
I think
commission a random guy.
Yes. Yes. That's exactly.
Okay.
What a great audible there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, she's very good at the on the spot thinking, and she was literally dressed like a ninja, like all
in black,
and black hoodie, black face mask, like the whole nine.
Oh my god!
And she was just like literally hiding.
Probably
in this...
scared some people. That guy probably thought
did.
she was going to kill him.
Yeah, probably.
But she was hiding in this like little thing. I guess you can take pictures on or something, but it was closed because it's winter, and it's icy and all that kind of stuff. But she was like up there hiding.
Oh my gosh!
So like you couldn't even see her. We walked right past her.
Oh my!
And it was right at the bottom of it. And
no clue.
Not a clue.
No clue.
So looking back, I definitely should have did like a pregame kind of thing. Like, okay, this is where it's gonna be. This is how we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
But it all worked out.
Yeah,
it
was really
so
cute. Yeah, it was really cute. And then after that, he planned. So both of our families were at like Applebee's. Like we were gonna go there after. Which is also a big deal because my parents cannot be in the same room for more than 20 minutes with each other. So it was a big deal.
It was a quick dinner.
A quick dinner.
Yeah, very quick.
And then we met everybody at Buckhead's. So
Buckhead's.
Buckhead's. And it was a really good night. It was really neat, and he did a really good job.
Nice.
And the ring's really cool too. So.
How does that work? I always love asking that question because I'm gonna have to do that one day.
Yeah.
How does the ring thing work? Try to get everybody's perspective on that because I have no idea.
Yeah. Like, did you guys talk about like rings or like what type of ring or like?
Kind of. I was probably looking at rings for probably the better part of 2-3 years. And I was always one to say like, my wife will have the best of the best. Like Tiffany diamonds, that whole thing. And she's like, if you spend more than $3,000, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I actually think it was more like $1,000.
Yeah. I said, don't spend over $1,000 on a ring. It's dumb. Like,
and
I heard a
Just noting that. There you go.
I'm just noting that.
but the rings I showed her, some were always like, oh, that's a little too much. That's pretty, blah, blah, blah. So you kind of just pick and choose.
Yeah.
Like from what they say. But for her, I tried to keep it as close to her personality as possible, if that makes sense.
Right.
She's simple, but yet beautiful. And that's kind of the way I was trying to go with it was the ring itself isn't boom, glamorous.
I'm like gonna cry.
I'm not trying to be like super corny or anything, but that's literally was my mindset. You know, I had a buddy of mine spend $7,500 on a custom made ring for his fiance, wife now.
Oh my god!
But and like I looked at it like when after they got engaged, and I was just like, I don't really like it. Like it's so in your face, and it's not even necessarily a big diamond, but there's just so much going on that I feel like it takes away from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I knew she wanted simplicity, so I was like, it's easy and a hell of a lot cheaper.
Yeah, I like change diapers for a living, so I'm always worried that I'll like if there's like too many like little like gems or whatever, I'll just knock it off and it'll break. And
and that's kind of what I'm worried about, because honestly this actually sits up a little bit higher than I thought at first. So I do bump it on stuff, and it's actually sharp, so it's a little dangerous.
It's extrally dangerous.
It's a weapon.
It
is self-defense.
Exactly.
She's always on you.
She's caught me with it a few times, and I'm just like, ow. Should have dulled that down a little.
But I definitely I worry about it all the time, so I'm just kind of like, I don't know, there's not really anything to cover. You know,
ring guard.
Right, exactly. Either that or if I was really worried about it, they even have those silicone bands that you can buy.
Yeah,
and those are easy. They're easy to clean. They're easy to keep up with. And then if you lose them, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. Mark is extremely worried about ring avulsion.
Yeah, you guys know what that is?
I do not.
So it's like if you have a ring on, right? Imagine you're it's not very common, but imagine you have a ring on your finger and you slip in the kitchen or something like that, and you have a table like this or a countertop, and your hand falls at just the right thing where the ring catches and it pulls your
skin off.
skin. Yeah, it's disgusting.
Don't look it up.
I won't go any further, and don't look it up. But
I feel like that's very Final Destination.
Yeah, for sure. But I do things I play
Jimmy
hockey.
Fallon.
It happened to Jimmy Fallon. Yeah, seriously. So it's crazy. And just with hockey and things like that. Yeah. And Amanda always is obviously in I don't wear any jewelry now, but a ring will probably be the only thing I ever really see myself wearing. Yeah. So I think just probably one of them silicone things just to kind of be obviously
on the safe side.
On the safe side. I don't want to lose any fingers.
But for us girls, we're willing to risk it.
We're willing to lose our fingers
for the ring.
As long as the ring's okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
Is the ring okay? Miss, you lost your finger.
My
my
wedding finger would be permanently messed up forever.
Just pop it on another one.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Just go resize. That's all. It's all right.
Easy fix. That is a hell of a story, though.
Yeah, it was
engagement story.
It was good. Yeah. It was really good.
The funny part is, I actually wanted to do it in January, and ended up doing it in December. So how it shook down was I went, and had the talk with her dad.
Right.
And that all went well, and he literally said it's about fucking time. Come on, bud.
Yeah.
And he, he does a poker league at a bar. Yeah. So we're down there, and he's like, so tell me, what's the plan here? And I'm, explaining it to him and everything, and he's like, so you're gonna do this in January? I'm like, yeah. He's like, why not do it before Christmas? And I'm like, well, I don't know. And he's like, think about it. You're going to see all of the family, both sides, your side, her side, and you won't have to have everybody waiting until the next family event to see it. You can knock it out all in a 2-3 day period.
He just wanted it to happen faster.
and be done with it. Yeah. And I was like, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You've done this once or twice, huh? And so I literally sped it up 3-4 weeks, the whole plan. And I mean, it all worked out, but it was just very oh, here we go. And the night I was going to talk to him, I was supposed to have the ring because I wanted to show him.
Right.
Well, the ring wasn't finished being made. So I had to wait 3 more days till the ring got there. And he asked me, well, can I see the ring? And I'm like, well, it was. I had
this plan.
Yeah, I had this day picked for a reason because that's what they said.
Yeah.
And then I didn't. It just didn't work out that way. But
yeah, no, that's it. I mean, that's interesting. Little random thing there is when you go and ask for the bride's to be's blessing.
Yeah.
Or father's blessing. Then probably other people are going to know. You know, like you just said that other people are going to know that it's going to happen. So, yeah, you probably want to just, like, maybe as quick as possible just so. Yeah. I mean, everybody kind of knows, I guess, it's coming unless you just surprise them randomly.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I actually asked her mom and her dad because, she, her parents were split up most of her life. So I figured it was polite to ask both, because. Yeah.
I wonder if anybody ever says no.
I was, not that I was worried, but I was just like.
I was worried.
I was like, what if my dad says no? like in general, because you know how dads are. They're just kind of like, well, no, nobody gets to marry you, like kind of thing. Yeah. So I was just like, well, what if that actually happens? Then does that is that it? Are we done now, or like, do you just try again another time? Like, maybe get him like a little bit more drunk and then ask him like, what do we do here?
Yeah, that's good. He said it's about time though.
Yeah.
I think everybody was kind of saying that.
Yeah. So, what's the plan moving forward? Well, I know you guys don't live together. Are you planning on moving in together again soon?
Yeah, we're currently house hunting. We went back and forth with like if we should get an apartment, if we should get a house. Yeah. But because we have a dog and a cat now, not a lot of apartments will have us come through, And if we do, then it's like an astronomical pet deposit and all that other stuff.
It's basically like half your rent up front. And it's like like on top of like your first and last, you have to pay like another half of 1 month for pet deposit per animal.
Jeez.
And you're like, holy hell. I'm in it for like $4,000 at this point. I might as well just go buy a house.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So we're currently in the market, and wedding planning is a little weird right now, but so we're hoping, we really need to find that line of like, what do we do first kind of thing. I think once we find a house that, pending on the budget and whatnot, that'll kind of determine what we do first, or if we can do both. Because I mean, getting married and getting a house it's a lot, all at one time. Definitely. Not necessarily like, not only like physically, like if you have to fix up the place, if you have to, do any other repairs or anything like that, on top of getting loans and all that, to actually get the house, on top of fixing, and then trying to book a venue and find the linens for tables and so it's a lot all at one time, but taking it like just step by step to see what comes first is helpful. I think.
Are you guys looking for anything specific for in the house area? Like, you guys narrowing it down by like, I don't know, area or, size of the home or anything like that? Like, do you have any longer term plans?
I think location's the biggest thing right now.
Yeah. Just because we work in two opposite ends of the city.
So I'm, north, and she's in Oakland, which is, just outside the city. So, on the map, the thing that makes the most sense is like Shaler, Glenshaw area. So like that's kind of the area we're looking.
Right.
One of my grade school teachers is actually a real estate agent now.
Nice.
So I've actually been talking with her and, finding different houses in that area and whatnot. So as far as the house itself, I mean, there's not too much that we ask for. Central air would be nice, but not necessary. And garage would be nice, but not necessary. Like I'd prefer a driveway over on-street parking. I don't think anybody would disagree with that.
Yeah, for sure.
But other than that, I mean, just a decent yard for the dog, and that's about it.
And enough. I think my one stipulation was like, if we have a driveway, it has to be a decent driveway. As far as like because I want to eventually host like holidays and things like that, and I don't want people to have any trouble parking. I really don't have to worry. Like, I really don't want to worry about like who's all going to fit in the house. Like, I want there to be enough room, and I at least want there to be 2 bedrooms, just so like if we have people over and people need to crash, like that we have the availability. And the yard is the biggest thing, though. The yard is the biggest thing because our pup needs room to run.
Yeah.
He gets very antsy when he doesn't run.
I just recently discovered that he chews when he doesn't get out.
Yeah.
So.
He chews stuff.
Yeah. And he's never been one to chew, so it was very like
odd.
Yeah.
It was surprising.
So where does the dog and the cat live right now?
I have the cat, and then he has the dog.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old are they?
Lola is
4.
Oh no, 4.
And Aries is 4.
Yeah, makes sense.
They're actually probably around the same birthdays.
I think Lola's 5.
Is she really?
I think Lola's 5.
Oh, she's getting old.
Yeah, and then Aries will be 5 in December. Yeah. So Lola was our first baby.
Oh. Which one is which?
Lola's the cat.
Yeah, okay. Lola's the cat.
Yeah, my cat is 11. Oh. So she's getting up there. So
say cats live forever though. So
the plan is we want to move in together at the end of next year. Mm-hmm. And if she's still around, she has to come with me.
Yeah.
So
yeah. How do you feel about that?
And we were looking into apartments too.
Well,
yeah.
So but yeah, like I said, she is getting older, but like she has to come with me. Like my one friend was like, you could try to just, leave her at your parents' house. I'm like, no, like she sleeps with me every night.
Yeah,
like she's
that'd be
like
so hard.
My cat. Like I can't abandon her.
Yeah. It's not the same of like, she knows everybody else that's in the house, but it's not you.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll get there when we get there. I don't want to stress out over it when it's not like ready to go. But it definitely was like, it's definitely just like.
It's an extra piece that you're taking, though. It's just something to think about.
Yeah. And Mark is he's never had pets, didn't grow up with pets, nothing. So
I'm very sorry.
Well,
he doesn't want any animals.
I mean, it's just it's a different thing. I don't dislike animals. Let's start with that. It's just like Amanda said, I've never had animals like in my house and like in the space that I live. So it's just kind of like a different thing when I think about it. Like, and obviously I'm over Amanda's house a lot, so she has 2 cats in her house. A lot of our friends have dogs and cats and stuff. Honestly, one of the biggest things is it's just tough. Like you guys mentioned, like when you're trying to rent, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Our plan, at least as part of our goal, future goals right now would be like to rent for a few years and then like move into our forever home or build a forever home or something like that. Because like I just felt like that would make the most sense.
Yeah.
Or like buy a house and then sell it and stuff like that and get something. So, but if you're going to rent, again, like you said, it's tough. It's tough to find something and then you're paying like an arm or leg for.
Yeah,
and not everybody is as bad.
Yeah.
Right.
But at least the way we view it as like, you adopt animals more times than not, right?
Yep.
So it's just like adopting a child.
Right.
They're your baby.
Mm-hmm.
You don't charge renters extra for children.
Mm-hmm.
So why do it for animals? And hell, I know more kids that are messy than our animals are. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that do more damage.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a,
right.
You see both sides, but it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't see why you need to, make
charge $600 for, it was going to be the one house we looked at like 2 years ago or no, last year, I think. It was literally down the street from his parents' house. And this guy was like, oh yeah, it's going to be like $1,200 for rent. Plus, it's going to be like $600 for a deposit for the cat. And I think we needed to pay it like
with first and last.
Yeah, with first and last. And I'm just like,
so $3,200 or $30,000 up front to rent.
And I'm just like,
no,
you're out of your damn mind.
Yeah. And then it was an additional $600 for every animal after that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Holy cow.
And then on top of that, it was $60 extra a month.
Yeah. It's one thing. I'd
do
one or the other. Like,
yeah.
I would do one or the other. I'm not doing both. Like, I'll pay you $30 a month for my cat that doesn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I do understand, though, that when it comes to cats, like, if they pee on something, it goes straight into the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't get that out. You
Right.
have to replace the floor, like, underneath. I get that 100%. I'm willing to pay you $30 a month for my cat. I'll pay you another $30 if I get another cat. I'll pay you $60 if I get a dog. I'll pay it all like monthly. That's fine. However, I'm not going to pay you $600 up front and then $600 for each pet that I get. It's just not. No. Yeah. It just seems like a scam.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So so when it comes down to that kind of stuff, we were just like, if we want, like, the way we looked at renting was that, because I wanted to do it at first too. I wanted to just be like, you know what, let's just rent something for now. we'll see how everything goes. Let's make sure that this is like, you know, the type of house that we're renting or the type of place that we're renting is something that we actually want. If we don't like it, we move the next year. I know that's a lot, but like just kind of figuring out what kind of style of living that we want to be in. And then as we were like, just as time went by, it was just like rent is like $1,200 without utilities when you go somewhere. If you get a house, you can pay what is it? We looked at like $800 mortgages and without utilities or anything like that. And it's just like, why not do it that way? And you're saving like $300. So it just makes more sense like that in that aspect to us of like just going
you just
for
get
a
more
house.
bang for your buck.
That too.
Yeah.
And then you can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
You know, like you get to paint, you get to do whatever you want. You know, the only bad thing is you're in charge of everything.
Yeah.
If the water heater goes, that's on you.
Yeah.
If the roof caves in, that sucks. It's for us to pay for.
Yeah.
But
that's what home insurance is for. But
that's true too.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, but I definitely don't think there's anything wrong with you guys being engaged for a little while, you know, and especially at a time like this.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm supposed to go to a wedding in November, and I'm like,
what do we do?
Ooh, like, that's soon. It felt so far away when she rescheduled it, and now it's like, that's
2
soon.
months away.
Yeah.
Even like, you know, I would think everything would be better a year from now, but even a year from now, it's like, you know,
it's all up in the air at this point.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it's a good time to just, you know,
just kind of like, you know, go like move through the changes and whatnot. Because as I was saying before, like it's so hard to try to like officially plan anything because you're going to put money into something that might not be open next year. Or that you're going to put all this money into a place that maybe by that time you're only going to be allowed to have 25 people with no dance floor.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, I'm part of the wedding community for Pittsburgh, like on Facebook. My heart breaks for all of these girls that got married this year. Like, it's terrible. Like, people have gone like, okay, we're in the yellow phase. I got to, my wedding I was able to have 100 people now. Like, this is great. And then we went back into that weird, like, not red phase, but things were still closing down and whatnot. And then people lost, like, I heard people were losing like $3,000 because they had to close. Like, they had to shut it down. They weren't allowed to have the bar. They weren't allowed to have a dance floor. And at that point, like, why did you spend all that money to have all of that? You know?
Yeah.
And even then, like, food has to be set up a certain way, and
it's just really craziness.
Yeah. And so that's kind of where we're at a standstill, is that we want to, like, we have a place that we want to get married at, like, for the ceremony, but they're even closed right now. We couldn't even go up and, like, see how it is, you know, because, I mean, it's been a year since not a year, I'm sorry. Like, since January, whenever I was looking at pictures and all this other stuff, like, who knows what it looks like right now, and who knows if they were even having anything, like, event-wise at all over there. Right. And then as far as, like, reception talk goes, it's just like, you know,
it's just a headache at this point.
It really is.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like, okay, this place holds 250 people, which is kind of the area where we need to be in. But then there's, like, our friends that got married at the beginning of July. Their church, in general, held, like, 700 people. They were able to have it at, like, 25 capacity, which was, like, I don't even remember how many people they had there. Probably like
Not
50.
Many. I would say it wasn't a lot.
But they had to make lists for each one because they weren't sure like what it was going to come down to. So at the time, it had to be 25% capacity. The people that came for the ceremony couldn't stay for the reception. And it was just weird. So it's just kind of like, where's the...
Getting married with a mask on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez. I mean, everybody in the church did. It was just the groom, bride, best man, and maid of honor were the only... And the pastor, priest, whatever he was. They were the only ones that didn't have a mask on.
Why didn't the priest have a mask on? He's right there.
But yeah, and it was...
He's right next to the bride and groom.
And there were 3 of them. Like, there was
there were 3 different
the
priests.
Uncle, who I guess is a priest in Lebanon, I think. And then there was the priest of the church there, and then there was, I don't know. I'm not really familiar with how that all goes, but there's usually 2 priests that are up there, I think.
And then like the uncle came in for the ceremony, and they allowed him to be part of it, on top of just him being there.
I gotcha.
Weddings are stressful enough, like in general, I feel like I'm stressed thinking about my wedding, and I'm like not even engaged yet.
Yeah, that's definitely accurate, because you want all these different pieces to like kind of all go together. And for me, who I like a lot of different things, I'm like, I don't know how to put all that together. Like, I don't know, we picked a color, which is helpful. And like, we picked our bridal party and whatnot, but that's literally it. Like, we've looked at a couple of different things, but it's starting off with just like literally the basis of like, okay, this is the color that we're picking. Cool. These are the people that we're going to spend it with. Great. Now what?
So. Do you want a lot of people, or like
at the wedding itself?
Yeah.
We don't really have a choice.
Yeah. We have big families.
Yeah. Okay. My side of the family was 140.
Holy shit.
By itself. Just family.
Yeah.
And then her side was like an extra...
I think it was like an extra 150. Or
no,
no.
It was like 110.
110.
And then we had like friends and stuff. It was like an extra 80.
Wow.
Yeah.
So whoever's good at quick math.
Quick maths. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the last...
A lot.
Yeah. I think the last time
I'm not good at math.
I think the last time we counted, it was like between 280 and 290.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's literally like, I have 4 sides on my end, and then he has 3. And then with all of our friends that we've, not necessarily accumulated, but kind of over like our lifetime, it really does. It adds up, and then you're just like, who's feeding these people?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot there. And then what venue is going to be big enough, and is it going to be just big enough?
Right.
Or is it like that we're going to have some room, or what? But we definitely had to think about like making the cuts and like what lists we have to, like if we had to do a 50-person wedding, who would we invite? We haven't gotten there yet, but it's something that we definitely
I think we're going to have like a 50-person, 100-person full capacity kind of thing. Like just kind of break it down to see where we need to be if everything's still going the same way next year.
And that way we're a little bit more prepared, because if we didn't think about all that stuff, that we'd be stressed.
Yeah.
I'm more...
He's chill.
He's
chill.
Along for the ride.
It's almost like I don't see it going on that long, but I also just don't see everything vanishing away.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of stuff's gonna stay the same, like precautionary wise, but
it's weird.
We'll see.
Yeah.
What kind of are you like? Would you guys do like a religious ceremony? Is that like in the start, or how do you?
Nah.
How do you? Yeah. Well, the religion topic is always one that
Us neither. Wait, don't go.
We're not going. We're not jumping off the religious cliff. We're just kind of we're tipping our toes into the water right now.
Okay.
With the wedding conversation.
I think both of us are not super religious.
Yeah.
You know? We both believe in God and that kind of stuff.
Right.
But when it comes to weddings, like we've been to enough Christian Catholic ceremonies to where it's like, no thanks.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not trying to have my entire family get up and down 42 times during a ceremony. It's just not necessary.
Right.
And plus, with even if we were going to go forward with like, because he was baptized Catholic, that there would be a lot that it would entail for us to actually get married if we went through the church.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like classes, and you have to get approved to be married, and
it's a lot of extra bullshit that you don't really need, and not to mention, like I said, we're going to be very non-traditional. Well, like on my side, I have a girl, like as one of my guys. Like I've been best friends with her since 8th grade. She has a guy on her side who she's been friends with for I don't even know how many years
since college.
So it's. On that aspect of it, like that's a big no-no from the church,
right?
And I'm not really that close with him, to have him on my side, so it just makes it easier.
Yeah, and that's cool though.
Yeah.
I like how you're putting your own spin on it. It's your wedding. What the fuck,
Yeah, exactly.
It's one time, one day. We're gonna do it how we want to do it, and fuck everybody else.
Yeah. How do you, what is that though? Like, this is just a general question. Amanda might even know the answer. Like, cause I have no education on weddings. Like, what is that then? Is it just like cause I think we're going to do something similar to some of the weddings that we've been, just like you just get like a general minister or something. And then they just kind of like have the ceremony and you just do it.
You can get somebody that's ordained too. So like there are people just, that aren't really affiliated with like a church or anything like that, or at all. And, they're ordained. I don't know if they're called ordained ministers or if they're just called just to be ordained.
Gotcha.
I mean, you can get married by anybody, have whatever kind of ceremony that you want as far as that goes.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do like a knot tying ceremony. You can do like the lighting of a candle. You can do a sand, or sand is the interesting one where you just want sand from one thing and sand from another thing and putting it into one bottle.
Yeah. I think I've seen that.
Yeah. So there's tons of different like ceremonies and whatnot. I did, I think we talked about it, that a youth group leader that I had way back when, that I wanted to ask for him to do ours, just because he made a big impact when I was younger. And, he was more of a friend than he was more of a friend and a family member than an actual like youth group leader. And he wanted that to be big for all of us, just because, when you're a teenager, you don't want to go to church. You don't want to, be a part of something that's like you have to follow all these rules and you have to follow this one line of thinking kind of thing. But he made it so that it wasn't like that. He made it for everybody to understand, everybody to relate with. And as far as teenagers go, that's really hard to do. So I really like, if I can make that happen, that's kind of something that I wanted to look into for us. But
yeah, which is fine by me.
Yeah.
And then on the legal side, you literally just sign some papers.
Yeah,
down at the
that's
court.
literally
Nice.
That's literally the only difference is papers and rings. That's it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I just found out recently that you have to actually change your last name.
Yeah.
I did.
Actively change.
I didn't know that. You have to like go and change your last name. It doesn't just like change.
Yeah. You have to.
It's a wand. It's a
I
magic
didn't
wand.
know that.
You would just think that the state would know. Like, hey, that person.
Yeah,
because
I mean, you have to. Sometimes you have to go through all that stuff in order to, get married, and people should know. So it's.
And a lot of people also don't even like women's side. Don't take the man's side. Like Jessie. I mean, she kept partial hyphenated it. So
Do you have to change it for that then? I guess as well.
Yeah, she still had to add the hyphen in there.
Some people keep it for like their jobs and stuff.
Yeah, like if you're like a doctor.
Yeah.
Even like
if you're just
a famous radio
well
host.
Maybe one day.
Some people do keep it for their careers because for whatever reason, I guess they think that if I change my name,
just branding or something. I could understand that. Like if you were a woman coming up, you were like establishing like some sort of like brand with your name, and then you got married and you didn't want to change it. I could understand.
My mom actually kept my dad's name and they're divorced, but it's because she wanted my last name.
I was gonna say that though. Like she would have had to actively change it back.
And she claims
that would have sucked.
And she claims that it's that's what you do when you get divorced.
Well, I understand that, but we didn't know
and
you had
she
to change
says,
it the one way.
She's professionally known as Sherry Masters, which I don't really know, but she wanted my last name, so. But when her and my stepdad get married, I think she'll change her last name. We'll see.
We'll see.
One day.
But anyways, just a little fun fact for everyone. I don't know what it's called, but we went to Jesse and Chris, who Mark plays hockey with Chris occasionally as well.
It's his cousin. Right?
And I was going
Chris is his cousin. You know that, right?
I was getting to that.
Oh shit! All right,
I was describing Mark.
Sorry,
not Ryan.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and Chris and Ryan are cousins, so we went to their wedding, and I caught the bouquet. Like I always wanted to catch the bouquet, I caught it, and apparently I've never been to a real wedding. I've been to. My friend already got married, and then she had a ceremony, but she didn't do any of that. I don't think. I would have remembered.
It's more a reception thing.
Yeah, and then but she had a reception, but it was just whatever. And then
it was probably more of a gathering then.
Yeah, I've been to weddings where they went to the courthouse and then had a reception, quote unquote. but I did not know what was happening next. Like, I had no clue.
She thought she got some free flowers.
What is it called? If anyone wants to describe
it's a bouquet
it.
toss and a garter toss.
Yeah. So basically, you caught the bouquet. So the bride tosses hers, and then the guys gather around, and the
single guys.
Keep in mind.
Yeah. Well, they say when you're not married, you're single or whatever. So.
Yeah. Right. You know. But then the guys line up, and then the husband tosses the garter, and whoever catches that has to put the garter on the girl who got the bouquet.
So Ryan had to put the garter on
and I
me.
fought for that garter, by the way. I'll have you know.
That was a big save.
And honestly,
I was in the back. I actually didn't think.
But you knew what was gonna happen.
I knew what was happening.
I didn't.
I didn't realize you caught it.
Did you?
Who did you think
first?
caught it?
You were first?
Yeah.
Like you caught it first?
It's ladies first. Yeah. But I must not have been paying attention. And then I just heard garter toss, and I was like, "Oh, let's go!" You know, like let's go. I was already pretty, drunk at the time, so I was just not thinking. And me and the other guy were kind of like battling, and he's twice the size of me. Yeah. So
he's like
I was in the back because I didn't want to get a bloody nose at a wedding.
Right.
I was just chilling. I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he was literally picking me up and throwing me out of the way. And I literally, like, the one time he threw me, is when Chris threw it, and I just ran by and snatched it. And that was it. And I was just like, okay, cool. Now who's the girl? And then I saw it was you. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, at least it's not a complete stranger, you know? And then I remember it, but not completely.
It was hilarious.
Because I remember using my teeth for some part of it.
Well, I was actually wearing like a jumpsuit, so I wasn't wearing like a full-on dress. So
which is probably good.
Yeah. The whole time Mark is just like chanting, like, "It's okay, go ahead," and you felt so awkward.
It wasn't even that I felt awkward. Like, I wouldn't have cared, but it was just out of like general respect for Mark, where I stopped where I stopped, because I was like, I'm not gonna like go all the way up, because if somebody did that to my girlfriend, I'd probably be a little pissed, But just because of general respect and everything like that, I was just like, I'll just stop there.
It was so funny. And I remember they had like the video camera right in front of us. They recorded the whole thing.
I mean, it's a big part of it, though.
Yeah, if you think that one's going to be funny, or that one was funny, wait till you see what I do to her for our wedding. I have this literal plan. I'm not going to talk about it, but you guys are going to literally piss yourselves, because it's going to be
because you guys do it first, and then you... Okay.
I take the garter off of her.
It ain't right.
It ain't right.
It ain't right. And I was actually pretty bummed, because like I was so sick like the entire time. I missed everything.
Yeah, I immediately wanted to go talk to you, and you were sick.
I was so sick, and like I really couldn't. I made it to, I think their dance.
She had a stomach bug, everyone. It was not. I actually just found out today that she was not drunk. I just assumed she was sick from being drunk because we were at a wedding, but she said she didn't even barely drank, and she had a bug.
I had a mimosa whenever we were getting ready. I felt fine. Everything was good. And then I tend to get car sick.
Yeah, same.
But I wasn't like, it was okay. Like whenever I got into the car, I was in the back seat, and I was just like, okay, I'm like not feeling all that great. I'm not sure if it was just a mix of like what I had or whatever. And then I was just like, oh, well, of course I'm going to be in the back seat. Of course I'm going to feel like nauseous and whatnot. So I get out and to take the pictures before we got to you guys, like at the ceremony. And I was like, okay, fresh air. I'm good. I feel better. We're taking pictures. Everything's good. We get into the car, and I immediately, like, it just hit me like a wall. I was just like, I'm going to puke everywhere. Yeah. And Jesse was back there with me, along with another bridesmaid. So I'm like, I'm going to throw up on Jesse's dress. This is how this is going to go.
Oh, no.
You know, like, it was so terrible.
Should have got the window seat.
Oh. I should have. But even then,
you were in the middle.
I was in the middle, too. So I was just like, I had nowhere to go.
Oh my gosh.
And then we get
Did you tell them that you felt sick?
Yes. And I had, the wedding coordinator was actually really nice. She got me a couple of like ginger ales and like
a bucket.
And a bucket, yeah. I really did not know if I was going to make it through the ceremony. I really didn't. I got up there, and I was trying so hard. I'm like, don't puke. Don't puke.
Oh, my gosh.
So, like, whenever
you were standing up there.
Yeah, I was, and it was me, and then the other girl behind me was 9 months pregnant at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm like,
between the two of you,
she ain't going to catch me. And I'm like, Kara doesn't even know me that well. She ain't gonna catch me. I'm gonna make a big fool of myself. And so, like, we were, everybody sat down. We started to eat. I was like, okay, maybe if I eat something, it won't be that bad. Maybe I just didn't eat enough earlier, and I was all stressed out. And so I was just like, okay, maybe that's it. So then I took a couple of bites, and I'm like, nope. And then that was it. Like, I was literally throwing up the entire night.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was really sad. It was really sad.
Do you think it was like food poisoning or something, or like? Or just like a random sickness?
I really think it was like motion sickness.
I don't know.
In the back seat, it feels a little more floaty.
Yeah, I hate sitting back in the back seat.
Yeah. Same.
It's just, I don't know if it would make me that violently sick,
Yeah,
just
like
for an extended period of time, like maybe
like
just like a 24-hour weird thing or something.
That's what I'm thinking it was. And then, like, I felt so bad because, like, literally, so it happened on a Sunday, and I had to be at work Monday for my new job.
Oh, wow. Double whammy.
And I didn't go because I was so sick. And I was just like, well, I made an impression on everybody here. So this is great. It really sucked. It really did. I was like, I put a lot of, like, I was just telling you guys earlier, I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that wedding. So it was just like, I couldn't even enjoy it. And like, I missed everything. I think I missed all the dances. I think I missed... Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I really did. I think I missed everything. I was available for one dance, and that was like enough for me to be like, okay, I'm done now. It was so terrible.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's horrible.
So I'm just like embarrassed. I'm like, I missed everything. But
you just said that you put a lot of like work and effort into the wedding. Have you known Jesse like longer than you've known Ryan, or are you guys just really good friends from that?
Yeah, okay. From that.
Gotcha.
I met Jesse probably like officially. I probably met her a couple months in.
Gotcha.
Because you guys were playing hockey and everything.
Yeah.
She was there at every game.
Mm-hmm.
I think she started reffing around that time too,
not
reffing.
The clock.
The clock and like scorekeeping and stuff.
God, I couldn't imagine if she reffed.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah, no, that wouldn't go well. But yeah, and then we just we really did. We built like a really, really strong connection over all that.
Yeah.
So, she's pretty cool. She's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I've had the pleasure of knowing Chris my entire life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's good to have a cousin that you're that close to.
Yeah, as I say, we don't even, like, if one of us introduces us to somebody new, like, we don't even call each other cousins. Like, we're brothers. You know, like, we were 9 months apart and couldn't be separated. You know, like, we lived 30 seconds away from each other. And, all the family reunions and everything, we just stayed together. Just 2 peas in a pod kind of thing. So
definitely.
He lived with me like in high school for like a summer, like, like summer vacation. He just lived at my house, brought his bed, his PlayStation and his TV and just was like, I'm going to crash here for the next 3 months. And I'm like, okay, cool. It was just the way it was.
It's like a whole summer sleepover.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah. I don't have any real, I'm just older. I'm just older than my family, like some my cousins and stuff like that. So I don't really have too much of that going on. And then Amanda's an only child, so. But
yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, but yeah.
I know you have an 8-year-old brother. Do you have any other siblings?
I do. I have a younger sister who is 23.
Oh.
Yeah.
You sure?
No, she's 22. She's 22.
I thought I was 22 and I'm actually 23. Like recently, like our last couple episode, I was like, yeah, I'm 22. And then my friend was like, you're the same age as me. And I was like, oh shit. After 21, you just forget. After 21, you just forget.
Yeah.
And I don't know. My birthday was during quarantine, so it's just like a blur.
Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like I forget my age all the time, to be honest with you. But so she's 22, I think. And then my brother's 8. And then I have an older stepsister and an older stepbrother that are in Oregon. I don't know their ages.
Oregon.
Yeah.
Do you have any siblings?
I do. I have one younger sister.
Oh, yeah, you have your sister.
She's 16.
Mm-hmm.
Recently got her driver's license. Look out.
Mm-hmm.
Look out. And then I have 2 half sisters that are older. One's, how old am I? 26. So one's 36 and one is 37. They all, have kids and all that kind of fun stuff. Not the younger one, but the 2 older ones.
That's a beautiful transition. Thank you so much. I had a question. So how do you guys, maybe not on the radar just yet. Obviously there's some steps in between, but how do you guys feel about kids?
It's a good transition.
It's a hard question too.
Yeah.
There's days where we're both like absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for our own personal reasons. And then there's days where, it's like I could see it. Kind of want it, kind of don't.
Right.
I wouldn't mind having, a little guy at hockey and teaching him how to play and that kind of stuff, or a little girl. Not to be sexist.
He wants a boy.
I'd prefer a boy. But I know that my dad had 3 girls. So I'm more than likely gonna have girls.
Right.
So that's fine. But
yeah, it's very up in the air because I've always wanted kids. Like up until just like a few years ago, it was very like I was like, oh yeah, I want like 2. At the very max, just that way, like I had another kid to have the other kid to play with, and just kind of like entertain each other and whatnot. But just of how the world is right now, it's just kind of hard to want to put kids into that kind of situation. But I have also tampered with the idea of like fostering and stuff like that. We don't really talk about it all that much, but it's definitely just an idea of, there's already kids that have really shitty lives and kind of want to make that difference. From this point on, because we adopted my younger brother and we did fostering for probably 5 years, I think. And we had 22 kids. So it was just knowing that, even if you're just a placement for a week or 2, that you're a good placement and that they're going to look back and say I was safe there. I was happy there. There's one family in particular that we see on occasion, or that sees my mom on occasion when she goes up and does her grocery shopping, and sees the older girl. I think she has to be 15 at this point now. But she drove her home the one time and was just like, hey, I wanted to show you something. And she was like, I still have the picture that we went on the Gateway Clipper that one time. And they were little. They were probably I think she was 6 or 7 maybe. And her younger brother was 3 or 4. And she was like, I still have this picture, I really wanted to thank you guys for taking me and making a big difference because, we were safe with you guys, and it was just it's just to have that kind of impact is kind of important. So I've definitely tossed around the idea. I mean, I've brought it up a couple of times, but, it's still it's still kind of the same situation of is this a responsibility that we want quite yet? We definitely are going to wait until after we're married to even try.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, and it's just the world that we live in today is very harsh and very
mean.
Yeah. It's just, you can't protect them from everything, but you can't just let them go, So it's just kind of where's the line of where that would stop? And with social media, it's very making the wrong move in public is just, it's going to be all over the place. And, it's really, it's a hard spot to be in, but I kind of want to have the experience of being a mom. So it's very back and forth.
Yeah. Understand that.
I think at this point if it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
But if not, we're not disappointed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of families that try and just can't, and it's just a disappointment. And I don't necessarily want to go through that either. Which, I mean, if that's the case, then I think adoption would be the route we'd go. But
yeah.
Well, you guys still have animals too.
Yeah.
So I mean,
they count.
Yeah.
Yeah. They count.
They're just as expensive.
Yeah, they can be. Yeah. You can't put clothes on them though.
I mean, you can.
You can, but they fight too much.
Yeah.
And they have 2 extra. I mean, not 2 extra because they're both considered.
Their teeth are just sharper.
But there's more fur involved. There's more squirming involved. You know, Aries is half the size of you. So.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I've ever actually thought about not having kids, but I mean, I know Amanda's goal in life is to be a mom.
Yeah.
So we're definitely gonna have kids, but I don't know if. But that's an interesting thing, though. I mean, we've actually, I think our last guests, I don't know if they're thinking about fostering, but like I know that was part of it.
Yeah, Lindsay and Dylan. Dylan, he's probably, I think he's like 26, so like the same age as you. He grew up having, like, his family like fostered, like, kids and stuff, and they did end up adopting like 2 twins and then 1 little boy. But that was, like, something he grew up around, too.
Yeah. And that's something he's for, or?
I don't know if they, like, want to do it, but he's, like,
It's definitely admirable,
definitely, like,
though.
for
I mean, there's a ton of kids out there, obviously, that don't have homes. And
I've thought about it, but I don't
just a
think
shitty
I've ever
situation.
went into, like, I want to do this, blah, blah, blah. But,
it's a really hard thing to just step into. Because, I mean, you don't know what you're coming into. There's a lot of different kinds of abuse. There's a lot of different kinds of neglect, and these kids are literally just looking for a place to be.
Yeah, to stay, roof over their head.
Yeah, and to be, I guess where I'm coming from is just that to be like a nice family that gives them food every night. That even if that's like a big difference to them, whereas there are some kids who are just like, my mom's mean and you're nice, like even if it's just as simple as that, but it's just a big deal to make that kind of difference. So I mean, it's not, and like going into it, like it took us 2 years to officially like get into the whole thing. And once we did that, like we did emergency placement and respite, which respite is just kind of like giving other foster parents a break, and like babysitting kind of thing. So when we started with that, we got like, I swear it was all 2-year-olds. Like we had 2-year-olds for probably like the better part of a year.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It was, but listen, they were the cutest things I've ever seen in my life. Like, and, so you go back and forth with this whole like, cause you don't know how long you're going to have them, that you make sure that they are taken care of and that, they have a safe place to be. They have to go to these court hearings. They have to like, either do visits with their parents or something like that. And to go back and forth with kids that their parents have already left them, like, and to kind of try to force that relationship, it's really hard on them. So like nothing is easy. Like I couldn't tell you one case that we had that was easy. So it's definitely not something to just kind of be like, oh yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
It's
There's
hard.
a lot that goes into it.
And even with my brother, it took us 3 years to adopt him because, when it comes to CYF, it's a whole different, like they're a whole different issue. And then, with people who are going through the adoption part of it, then going through CYF part of it, and then the people who are the advocates for the parents, it's just like literally all of them are battling out, and you just kind of have to sit and wait for everybody to figure it out. But when we finally adopted him, we actually we took a break from fostering. We just did like
how old was he when he first like came to you guys?
He was 3 months.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he was 3 months old. He had like the chunkiest face, and he was like the cutest thing I've ever seen. And now he is a sassy, curly-haired, independent scientist, and
I feel like I might have met him at like an RMU tournament. Like, I don't know if he was there with you. I remember there were children with you one time at a tournament at RMU. That's all I know. I could have sworn.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
It's very possible.
It was a long time ago.
It was probably,
at least a year ago. At least like.
It was probably nationals that I played with you for quote unquote Cranberry Elite.
Oh,
it was at RMU
when we were
2 years ago. I don't know.
3.
Definitely over a year.
Who was I don't know. Was that it? It was Jesse was there with us. Like when we sat like up in that top thing. Was it that tournament?
I don't know. RMU
I think it might have been like a Friday night. Like it was like a Friday night. Oh, I kicked the table.
It's fine.
I think it was definitely RMU, and I want to say it was probably Paul with probably the 2 girls.
Destiny.
Yeah. Or it might have been just Destiny. I don't know.
Because we only had Destiny for a short period of time. We had her for like a year or so, 2 years. But
yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember for the. Either way, I know I had a small child. I think it was Vinny's kid.
Oh.
At the last tournament. Yeah, I took him.
Oh,
I took him. I stole him.
Yeah, I did. I definitely fought Jessie for that though too.
Yeah, that was the South Point tournament. That was
okay, so that was the same one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely. I was like,
that's because Vinny's
coming
kid
with
is
me.
very cute.
He is cute.
But,
Hunter.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We were fighting for that kid. I swear. We were like, she was like, oh, he's just getting real fussy, so she put him in the thing, and I was like, no, he needs a nap. So then I walked around for maybe like 10-20 minutes and he fell asleep. She was so mad. But it was cool though. It was cool.
So like with fostering and stuff, like obviously extremely admirable and something that like we haven't really considered specifically, but I think that like one of the things that I am just like kind of worried, like for no real good reason about as I approach fatherhood of whatever that means, of whatever that, whatever route that ends up happening is like just like the possibility, I guess, of like infertility.
Yeah.
Like, people like Ryan was saying, like you try to have kids or whatever, or you try to, start a family and stuff like that. And it's like either way, male, female or whatever. And it's like, I don't know I don't know any numbers on any of that. I don't know what like influences that positively or negatively, but like it's always something that I'm concerned with, just like, can I have kids? You know what I'm saying? And if you can't, then like what else can you do?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't really think about it as often. Mark like always mentions it.
Yeah.
I would probably be really upset, but like I say this now, but obviously if it happens, you have no idea how you're gonna feel. But I'm a really caring person, so I feel like I could adopt and just care about them just as much. Yeah. But still, obviously having your own like biological child that like looks like you or looks like Mark, it's it's different. But
yeah, and that's I think that's definitely a big fear in general. Because I mean, you really don't know until you. Yeah. Like unless
maybe
something
you can
happens.
Get checked or something, but I don't even
yeah.
I don't even know you do that.
Even so, I guess even for that, like you have to go through like I feel like it's like an extensive process to go beforehand. But I mean, like at least for, like I feel like at least for women, whenever we go and get like that yearly checkup and everything, you can probably have them see like what all that entails or like
poke around.
Like,
yeah, you're good.
But unless like I feel like unless there's something that happens that kind of that hurts your reproductive organs or whatever directly, you won't know until you're trying, I guess. And then like after that, it's just kind of like, oh well, we've been like just for like an argument's sake, we've been trying for like 2 years and it hasn't happened yet. But there's also there's only like, from what I remember, there's only like a 15% chance of a girl getting pregnant a month. like, and
without birth control,
without any other factors of anything, like anything. So it's just kind of like
as easy as it seems.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's the way I look at it is, if we were going to start trying, that it's I have to remember that 15%, even if that's not the real percent, but I know that it's low. It's not like
it's not a guarantee.
Not that it has to be lucky, but you know, it's if you sit there and you plan it all out and you're like, we have to have sex right now. You know, it is 4:35. If we don't have sex right now, you won't get me pregnant next month. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not. I feel like whenever you start to do that is whenever you put more stress onto yourself. And I mean,
stress isn't good.
It's not it really just takes a toll on your body in lots of different ways. So it's definitely a concern, but I think as far as like, I mean, it's definitely something that I worry about, but I also take into consideration of like, I look at the other side, like small numbers. There are also like, if we can't, and we just decide, you know, we won't stress ourselves out to try. We'll just, you know, see if it happens. If it doesn't happen, then we'll take another route, you know, because there's other options that we can take. Even if we don't want to go forward with a full adoption, like if we wanted to take, you know, if we wanted to do fostering, or if we wanted to just go for adoption and not do the fostering, because you could do both. Like you can just do the fostering to adopt. That's a little bit of a harder process, just because if you build a relationship with these kids and then they go back home, or if they go to another placement or something like that, it's kind of heartbreaking. But at least that's what, you know, that would be my fear behind it.
Ditto.
Okay.
Ditto.
I feel like I'm talking like a lot, so I'm sorry.
It's all really good stuff. I mean, we didn't know anything about
we're
that.
Not
that is
informed, so I'm glad to know.
I'm not all informed either.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't anything my family went through, so I'd let you take the stage on that. Cause
Yeah, so definitely got options though. I guess that's awesome. Either way, you're either bringing somebody into the world, you know, a little kid into the world that you can hopefully turn into a nice human being, or you can take someone that has been less fortunate in their life and then also have a positive impact. So that's either way. I think that's dope.
Yeah, that's for sure.
What do you? I don't want to harshly transition here, but what do you guys like moving forward? Again, we talked a little bit about engagement, marriage, house, kids. Is there any other like big goals that you guys have ever discussed? Like, I mean, they could be dreams, like, you know, like just even in general, like what you guys kind of see your lives together, like being, you know, like happiness wise, things that maybe even you guys have individually. Because one thing I don't know if we talk about this enough, I want to say on the podcast, is you guys are still individuals, you know? Like, so we talked a little bit about like what you guys do for work and that type of thing, but like you're coming together as a union. So like, what do you have you guys had any experience or had any?
Did you mean to say union? Or?
Did I say union? What did I say? As a unit?
I didn't know if you were going to say union.
Yeah, you're union.
No, yeah,
they're unionizing.
You meant to say unit, but you said union.
Well, I mean, yeah. Okay, yeah.
It's okay.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, they're starting a union.
To double check.
It's a steel workers union. No, okay. But regardless, so you guys are coming together as two individuals very soon, right? And like, is there things that, you know, have you ever thought about like life from like an individual perspective and then actually coming together and like what that, I don't know, just what that means to you guys, or like any, like I said, any more like bigger goals that you can maybe tackle better together than you could on your own or something like that, or anything?
I don't know. My NHL dream kind of crashed. No. But I would say, like, oh, that's a good question. Yeah. Goals wise, I mean, honestly, just kind of like, and it's so stupid, but like keep each other happy.
Yeah.
And it sounds kind of easy, but I mean, you hear or see, you know, families getting divorced after 20 years.
Right.
And it's like, what went wrong? And one thing that she brought up was date nights. I think when you get older and, you know, you have kids and that kind of stuff, those date nights kind of, you know, fall back and like they don't happen. And, you know, I think that's definitely one thing that we would definitely try to keep going, even if it's once a month, once a week, whatever. I definitely think that alone time away from all the other bullshit is definitely key to happiness. And
because you focus on everything else going on every day, and you don't take the time
to, and it's, it's even just talking about work or like your lives at the time, like some people were like, work stays at work, home stays at home. But, sometimes you need to vent about some bullshit. And, I think we're both,
me too.
I think we both are open enough with each other to keep that, like us being friends for, probably 5-6 years before we became official was such a big part of it, with us, being, I think, as close as we are. Like when you start a relationship with just kind of like a random person, not necessarily, but like, you don't have that.
That was me.
Yeah. You don't
that
have
was us.
Yeah. You don't have that friendship. Yeah. It's hard to build that trust and build that relationship where we knew so much about each other prior to it. I knew her red flags and she knew my red flags, like before, we even got into anything. So if I was having a bad day, she would know way before it. Like I even had to say anything. Yeah. Whether it would be by just how I was texting or, how I just was walking around the house kind of thing. She already knew. And it was, okay, talk to me, and, I think that, is such a big part to our happiness as, a lot of people, have their own little kinks and whatnot, about it. But
communication is key.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys already had that communication before you even like got together.
And I mean, granted, like whenever you go from like a friendship to a relationship, it's definitely different. And I mean, at least the way I would view it is like you can say different things and like talk about certain things with your friends, and it's a little bit more comfortable. But whenever you're in a relationship, it's just like, how do I let you know that you really pissed me off today without like, or like, how do I let you know in the best way possible and the easiest way possible for nobody to get upset that like this hurt my feelings or whatever. And like when it comes into that, it gets a little harder. And I think that we've definitely grown over the last like couple years with getting better with that.
I'm definitely one not to have that hard conversation. I try and not run away from it, but I will like push it off as long as I can, so she's been one to pull it and dig it out from me no matter what it is. And I think now, like specifically right now, I'm like the most open about everything, as you should be, but sometimes there's just stuff you don't want to talk about,
right? But
she will pull it out if she feels that it needs to be addressed and if it'll help. And 99% of the time she's right. So
can we note that
noted?
Was right. Okay.
Noted.
Got it.
But I don't know, goals wise, like career wise or anything. I mean, obviously I'd love to have my own shop, one day, but like I said, it's a hard business.
Yeah.
Just doing detailing. Yeah. It's not what everybody thinks it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you have like extra stuff, window tinting and remote starts and that kind of stuff, you get that bigger market, that's how you keep business. But I don't know how to do any of that. So
you can learn. We can hire people.
Or I can hire people. Yes.
So on top of detailing, you can get a remote start. We can throw it in for a package deal.
There you go.
But other than that,
are you also a handyman?
Like, I am.
You are? Yeah, I don't have that trait.
What?
Yeah. You can fix shit. Like if you guys bought a house, like if you bought
he is a little.
If you bought a house, like you would know how to fix that.
A lot of it. We actually just looked at a house.
I mean, I don't know.
We actually just looked at a house today. That it's like a 2-for-1 property thing. Like there's 2 houses on it. And they were both like, one is being remodeled and the other one was built from the ground up. and it seems like for whatever reason, both houses just stopped in the middle. Like,
they literally left
picked
everything
up and left. Like we walked through the houses today, and there were like drill batteries sitting there, like heaters, ladders, just shit everywhere. And I'm like, you don't leave that kind of stuff. Yeah. So what happened? You know? But I mean, like all the frameworks up and that kind of stuff in the houses. So I'm like, yeah, that's nothing to hang some drywall, throw some paint on it, and you know, hang some cabinets. That's nothing. You know?
Did you do that when you were younger?
Or? The house I grew up in, my dad decided to redo a few rooms, and my dad is substantially older than me.
Substantially.
My dad is 40 years older than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, 40 years older.
Yeah.
So, you know, when I was 16, when he started it, or 14, you know, my dad's 54. You know, so he couldn't do everything, you know, and I wanted to help and everything. So we renovated the dining room and kitchen, and I mean top to bottom, new flooring, new cabinets, new walls, everything. Knocked out a wall. Did a powder room, bathroom, like you know, not a full bath.
Yeah.
As well as a full bathroom, and then on top of that, when my parents moved out and I started renting off of them, we redid the master bedroom too, me and my roommate. So, and same thing, paint, flooring, furniture, like all that kind of shit, lighting. So it was kind of forced upon me to learn it.
Yeah.
There's definitely some stuff I'm not comfortable doing, but I could probably figure it out.
It's a very
I know how to swing a hammer.
Yeah, it's a very valuable skill. I mean, you don't even need to be a contractor. You're gonna own a house one day. You should be able to do some shit. I could probably tinker, but I go to YouTube University for most things.
Yeah,
so.
And there's
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
because I mean, like even just for me, I don't really know how to do a lot of stuff, but that's exactly where I would go. YouTube University. I just
now that I think about it, it's actually kind of funny. Jesse, when they were buying their house, there were some things that weren't like up to code for them to actually buy it, and the previous owners were like, no, we're not doing that, you know. So she called me and was like, hey, I need some help. Could you build me a railing like from the backyard to the driveway? Sure, no problem. Did that.
Nice.
Can you fix the gutter? Sure, whatever, you know. Get a ladder, nothing crazy. Is that it?
I think so. I mean, we did the stuff down in the basement, but that wasn't really like...
Yeah, that was just painting walls, but it was just stupid little shit that, you know, it's some wood and some screws. Like, it's not overly complicated, but...
Yeah. Feel that.
And you're a smart enough guy to... You can figure it out, I mean...
Yeah, we'll see one day. We'll see one day when I get tested. I gotta knock out some walls and shit. Yeah, I'll figure it out. Call Ryan.
Yeah.
I come in and half the house is like slopped over.
Yeah, you
like,
gotta fix this. I don't know. I don't know what the hell.
I really tried, guys. I really tried.
Got a support beam, but I don't know what to tell you.
Happens, you know. Lindsay, would you say that like your path as far as like job and everything like that is? Are you chasing your dreams, or like what would you say is?
This is gonna sound terrible, but I don't know like what they are. I mean, because like you know, when I was a kid, I had this idea that I was going to actually run my own daycare, and I was gonna like have all these different things in place. I actually went to school for it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Just found out that it's just, you know, I know what happens in daycares, like the bad side of it, and I was in one of them, and I was just like, it's not happening for me. Yeah. But where I'm at now, just because I know what kind of resources we offer, I definitely want to be more involved in all of that. I think we have a lady that deals directly with like more specific to like low income, food insecure people. Like most of our office is, I mean, like we cater to, you know, Spanish speaking families that don't really have a lot of access to a lot of different things. So like they have this thing, it's called Casa San Jose, and they have like a clinic where they don't need insurance and like all these other things. And then there is the lady who deals with the, food insecurities and the, like CYF cases and things like that. They literally give them food to take home after their appointment. And they help them find resources to, of like where to go whenever they're low on food. Like not just going to the food bank every month that it comes around or something like that, but like where they can go to get some sort of something from somewhere. And, with the WIC programs and things like that. So I think eventually what I would like to do is be more involved with all that. I have tossed around the idea of being like an advocate, like a child advocate. I just haven't gotten all the information of what I would actually need to do. But like all these kids that are going in and out of care and whatnot, they have different programs and things, like almost like a big brother, big sister kind of thing that they do. I definitely want to be able to like eventually get more in touch with all that, and just be more a part of that difference, whether it's through work or through my personal life. I definitely want to be able to, get more involved in that. Now, granted, I don't know if it's going to happen, but my mom and I had talked about doing like a nonprofit. We haven't thought of a name or anything for it, but of just teaching new moms, like young moms, how to go about motherhood, how to cook, how to clean, how to, do things that they may have not been taught. And I definitely would love to see that jump out. That is definitely that's a big time dream, just because like doing nonprofits are very hard to start up anyway.
Yeah.
But just because you need buildings for things like that, because what it would entail would be like, that the mom and said kids would be in a small little something or other, or they have their own place, and there would just be a person that went to their house or to this building that would teach them like how to cook basic things, if anything, and then whenever they're ready, they can jump into all these extravagant meals or like, but that's definitely a big dream that I would love to have happen.
Is it like you do that? Like to
be a part of it.
To start it?
Yeah. Like, I mean, not me to start it, because it's definitely, my mom definitely wants to be the one to start it up and everything, but I would love to be a part of it. And even though, like, I don't really do a lot of cooking, I mean, neither one of us do, but, I don't do a lot of cooking, and I don't know how to do everything, but even the basic skill of just like, hey, when this happens, here's what you do.
Yeah.
Or like, this is how you make spaghetti.
Just
this
like
is how you make,
how to be a mom, how to be a
and just how to take on the responsibility, because most of the time when kids are in foster care, their parents either went through the same thing or they had no guidance. Yeah. So it's just kind of like introducing what may not have been taught to them.
Is there anything like that right now?
Not to those specific.
Yeah.
There are, nurses that come in and help new moms, like young moms that are breastfeeding and things like that can't get to appointments, like that are having trouble with transportation. There are things as far as that goes, but there's not one that's like, there's like women's shelters, there's, things like that, but nothing that caters specifically to teaching them the actual way to live life, I guess. And that sounds like heavy, but but most of the time, like, young moms are doing it by themselves. And when moms are 16, and if their parents aren't involved, then they're not really like, doing what they need to do to help them either. It's kind of a hard situation for them to be in. But that's definitely, like I said, it's definitely a big dream. Because like I said, the nonprofits, I feel like, are very hard to start in general, and to have something that is going to like, it's very cost effective in trying to like rent out a building and like have people who are willing to go to these houses, if that, or to even come to like this one building. It's a lot that goes into it.
So a couple quick things about that, because that piques my interest. First thing is, I actually know somebody that has a nonprofit for a different thing, like cardiac health awareness and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Because it hits close to home for them. I love the idea. I think that there's probably not a lot of people doing something like that, and I think that it would be relatively easy from a sense of like kind of like, I don't know what you have to do to set up a nonprofit specifically. I've set up some companies, but not nonprofits. So there's definitely obviously like the tax and all the government, all sorts of stuff. But other than that, though, I feel like the purpose is strong. I don't think you'd have any trouble with that. Like you're trying to help people. So I think that would make sense. Just a random question for you, just because like, again, this is one of my favorite areas to talk about is if you like, let's just hypothetically say that you just wanted to start that like today. Do you think that I know what you're trying to do in the sense of like getting them to, I guess, come and like be hands-on with a lot of those things and like actually teach them. But do you think if you start a nonprofit, bullshit aside on how to do it, if you did that today, do you think that you could start something like that and get it ramped up by just like online content? Like just filming yourself, like teaching people or having like even like Zoom type of, classes like that. And then one day
have the building.
Yeah. Have the building and actually get to that
That's
point.
a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like, it's just something that if you want to talk about it later too, or some other time, like we can kind of like just brainstorm on stuff. Cause like, I'm always into that because when people have, I feel like it's so rare for people, not rare, but like I feel like a lot of times people have those great ideas like that and they put these barriers. I'm not saying necessarily you're doing that, but like you put these things up, it's like it'd be so hard to get to right here, like right on the other side of that wall.
Yeah.
But once you get on the other side of that wall and you're doing the thing that you love, I mean, you can hear just in this conversation that you're very passionate about it. Yeah. So I think that would be dope. I mean, if like I said, if like you, your mom, like are serious about that and want to continue, and you think that is something that you guys could do. That's a really interesting thing. I'd love to be like, just any information that I had, Amanda had, or anything like that. We'd love to talk to you about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a great idea though.
Yeah. I mean, like my mom talked about it for so long just because we, there was an experience that we had with, a set of brothers that we had come in. We loved them so much. They were amazing boys. And mom was just young and was in and out of care herself. And she just didn't have the skills, and she knew that, so she couldn't take care of them, so she did what she had to do, and they came into care with us. And as soon as mom got a job, CYF said, "Oh, mom's good, send them back." And they ended up back in care twice. So it's just kind of like, and my mom stayed in contact with her, trying to get her any kind of help that she would have needed. Took her to couple of different places, try to get her into Job Corps, like all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of, I guess the background of it is like, when it comes to CYF, they're looking for reunification.
Not what's best for the child.
I mean, so sometimes that is, but reunification isn't always what's absolutely best for them. Reunification with the biological parents are not necessarily the best thing for them all the time. And they're going to put them with them first. If they even see like a glimmer of of hope of like, because I guess mom wasn't working at the time and she got a job, and then she was just like, okay, we'll send them back. And then it was so sad because she said to them, I can't have them right now. I can't do it. And they said, well, you can't just give up your kids.
Yeah. I think that's a common thing. I haven't watched too many like shows and stuff, but I think that's a common theme. It's like, you always see that's like, they go with a foster parent or something like that, and they develop that relationship. It's like, oh, potentially like, I'm going to use a term here, like deadbeat type of parent or something like that. Like, that for whatever reason, right? However they got in that case, they're in a bad situation and they couldn't take care of their kid, so their kid gets taken from them or what have you. And then it's like, oh, I'm kind of better now. And then like they get reunited or whatever, and then it just kind of it's a back and forth game. It seems like it's kind of like what
it's almost like a tennis match.
Yeah, it's tough.
That's, and I mean, I even saw it with my oldest sister. She had I want to say 2 or 3 of her kids taken by CYF. For whatever reasons, at the time. But and like they would put the kids with like her grandmother or their grandmother, I should say. And she lived with them. So like
so it
wasn't even just, like
that's wild.
It was just the guardian at the time wasn't her. But she was still in the same household. And then it was like when she got arrested a couple times and like did 30 days. And as soon as she got out, boom, CYF gave her kids back. And I'm like, she's not even on her feet yet, let alone like having, she doesn't have a job, doesn't have a house, doesn't have anything. but she's supposed to provide for 3 children.
Yeah.
It just didn't.
And then it comes back to then if she can't, then it's just well, we need to take them now. It's very back and forth, and that's, I'm not, I'm a not that I'm an advocate for them, but I understand that the CYF is trying to do what's best, but they also don't take into consideration a lot of other things. They're just trying to get one job done, and as long as that job is done, their boss is happy. Mm-hmm. They don't really, and they're, to be quite honest, they're not paid enough to
care.
Not to care, but they don't get paid enough to do that extra. You know, and even at one time when I wanted to be a social worker, because of situations like this, I was just there has to be somebody else that's advocating for them, that either it's a good idea or it's not.
Yeah. And
they're not paid enough. So they just give up, and they're just well, this is what they said. This is what it is. So you guys just kind of have to roll with it. And then these young moms and, young dads, they don't know what to do. So they just do their best. And sometimes it's enough. Sometimes it's not. Yeah. And they just don't have, most of the time it's just they don't have the skills. Nobody taught them how to do things, so they just survive. They don't actually know what else to do other than survive. So it, and not that it's I feel like I'm talking a lot again.
No, you're
sorry.
Good. You're good.
I'm really getting all into this. It's always one thing to survive, but you have to live too. You have to find different parts of your life where it's not that you're just surviving, you're enjoying. And I feel when you don't have that, it takes away from the experience with your kids.
Yeah.
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 No, you're really into this.
I am. I'm sorry.
No, it's not a good
definitely
thing.
Have your own episode.
It's a
this.
good thing. I think that, like I said, I think it just circles back. I think that you should. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but
tell me what to do, Mark. Tell me what to do.
From somebody sitting across the table from you, that is, having our most in-depth conversation with you guys that we've had, as friends.
Yeah.
I think that is very evident that is something that you're passionate about, and I think that it would be advantageous to the world for you to continue to pursue it. So, bravo. Yeah, I think that's dope. My quick question though about it, does it all stem from just your family's affiliation with it all?
Yeah, I think so. And we just, with my, a couple family members on my mom's side have always struggled with their kids and everything. So it was just kind of how can we be the most helpful? And just knowing that there's all these other kids that go through a lot and that don't have people who they don't have people to protect them. They don't have people who are giving them the care that they need, and it was just getting too bad. You know what I mean? I mean, granted, it's always been around. There's always I don't think there's ever been a peak. Well, I guess up until now, with all of the with all of the sex trafficking that's going on in the world. But, just that there are so many kids in the system that are just waiting.
Right.
And they wait until they're 18, some of them. And then they have to be on their own, which is terrible. Mm-hmm. So even, so I guess the point was just to, even if it's for just a little bit to help them get on their feet, to, be that safe spot and whatnot, was enough for us to be you know what, we should do this. We should sign up for it. We should just do it. And it was something that my mom was very passionate about, beforehand. But then when I was a sophomore in high school, I believe, she was no, we should just do it. You guys are old enough, between me and my sister, that, that we can be influences, I guess. And that, we can, that they can have an older sibling or something to look after them and teach them things. And I think we only really had one older kid, and that was it. But most of them were under the age of 8, which was really sad, because then you really get a look at how bad it is, for these young kids, and they have to grow up from there. But I think it was definitely just we my mom was passionate about it, and then us doing it. So that's what really got me into it.
Gotcha. Well, it's a good origin story. Yeah. And again, kudos. Absolutely. I mean, I think that's like I've said, super admirable that you are either able to, either bring kids in and give them a better place to just stay temporarily, or potentially adopt. I think that is awesome, and I do stand by that. I think that you have a huge future in that, just because of the passion and everything. So that is absolutely awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah. What else, Mandy?
Well, I guess it just comes back to, obviously that's a goal of yours, and just, I feel like getting a house in general and moving forward is a good goal.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. That is definitely next on the list.
Yeah. House needs to come first. That's what needs to happen. House needs to come first.
Yeah. Get your space, get settled in.
Yeah.
I think that's married. Definitely probably going to happen in the next few months.
I hope so.
Yeah.
After that house we looked at today, though.
It was just a lot of work. It definitely is like an obtainable goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's probably some stuff that is out of my realm of handiness.
Right.
Yeah.
But
your expertise.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say expertise. But it's just it was just a lot.
Yeah.
But my mom just loved this property. She was looking and was like, this is perfect, blah blah blah. And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
If I had about $400,000, no job, sure, because that's what it would take.
Yeah.
Just constant hours of work, because it's a lot of land, a lot of house that isn't done, but I think we've decided to go on the route of something more move-in ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we would even have to that one specifically. We'd have to buy it and then fix it up for months until it was move-in ready. It was not anywhere close. So, yeah, we definitely we'll up the budget a little bit more, and we'll look at something that we can actually at least sleep in, safely,
maybe not have critters crawling over you.
Exactly. We don't need any critter friends either.
No dirt floors.
Yeah, no dirt floors. We'll pass on that.
Nice. Well, we've done pretty long time here. I don't know what the official count is, but we've definitely ran the gauntlet. A lot of different stuff. You guys seem like you are well on your way. Happy to hear that. Obviously, again, congratulations on the soon-to-be marriage.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And everything that has already come in your, relationship to this point, and obviously a lot of great things yet to happen. So
absolutely.
But thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. It was a great talk.
Yeah.
We're excited.
Learned a lot.
And we can always have you guys back on again, and we could, deep dive into more topics.
Yeah. We'll let Ryan talk.
This is this is the getting to know you episode. So it's a lot, but
Oh yeah.
Definitely have you guys back on if you're interested.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Dope. Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you again. Really appreciate it. I know our viewers enjoyed it. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of AM in the PM with our guests, Lindsay and Ryan. And we will talk to you guys in the next one.